So week one is complete, which does feel like quite an achievement just because it was difficult to get started. And moving into week two now does not feel half as much of an effort. So I wanted to do week one in review to give an overview as to how I approached the week. And I think if I had had this information, I would have found it easier going into it. So that's my intention. So before week one, you want to buy your supplements. Now, there's certain things that are needed at different stages of the program, but just for week one, you need magnesium, omega-3 that comes from fish oils, because I think you can get omega-3 that comes from a plant extract, but it specifically says coming from fish oils. Vitamin D, iodine, and curcumin. And curcumin comes from turmeric. It's the active ingredient. And again, you want to get curcumin that does not have additional ingredients that help with absorption. You don't want it to absorb. And when you're online looking for supplements, a lot of the curcumin ranges boast that it's got the black pepper extract that helps it absorb, but you want to just go for curcumin. So I had to do quite a bit of online research just coming to that information. So hopefully that's useful. So pre-buy that, have that ready. They're taken daily and you're given the doses in the book. And what I found to be useful is to have a little container with the ones that I take with my first meal of the day, and I've got a little container with the ones that I take in the second meal of the day. I try to put them in there the night before and they're just ready to go. So that's the supplements. I also found that because there's low carb, feel thirsty a lot quicker, drink a lot more water, pee a lot more as well. This is what's said in the book. And so for me, when I wake up, I take an electrolyte, and that just prevents any feeling of dehydration in the morning, which could be dizziness, it could be tiredness. I did feel that the first couple of days. Also, in the first week, there's detoxing symptoms going on, and a sort of tiredness or grogginess could definitely be part of that. So I found that an electrolyte works really well. Just wake up, pour the water, put it in there. And also, I drink water generally from my 800 ml flask, and I drink maybe two of these, 2.5 of these a day. I just put a pinch of Himalayan salt in one of the bottles that I drink, and just to give it a little bit more salt throughout my day, and I've been feeling pretty good with that. Symptoms in the first week, I would say around day 3 or 4, maybe felt a bit more emotional. Felt quite tired on day 4. I just sort of took the afternoon and sat on the couch with a book or watched a bit of TV, and just the next day I felt fine. And had a fairly low key on and off headache around day 5 and 6. And the other one that I had was for 2 or 3 days around day 5 and 7. My eyes felt a bit irritated, all like hay fever or seasonal allergies, and they just felt quite tender. And now that's just gone, and the headaches have gone, and like any symptom I felt has gone. And now I'm on day 8. I am technically on my second week now. So that is what to pre-buy your supplements, how to stay hydrated, and some symptoms that could happen in that first week. I'm sure there'll be people out there that get far more severe symptoms. I can't speak to that, but the ones that I had were relatively mild, and they did pass within a couple of days. The big thing I found was meal planning, what to eat. So the main guidance that's given in the book is remove grains and keep meals below 15 grams of net carbs. I believe that the 15 grams and lower is probably something to do with any higher and starting to activate insulin response. I'm not sure, but that's why it's quite a strict, quite an important rule, the 15 grams. I did email Dr. Davis's team to ask about the inclusion of things like fruit, dairy, nuts, and honey, because they're things I couldn't see any information including or excluding in the book, and they're ones that I thought could be. Um, when they did reply, they didn't really answer that question, but they did say it's very important to keep it under 15 grams per meal. So, as far as I can tell, there's going to be probiotic yogurt used in the program, and as long as they don't say strictly in that first week, do not include any dairy, I'm including it. So that's cheese as well, and cheese seems to have very low net carb or no net carb. Um, I was doing a lot of Googling. I do not naturally know how many net carbs are in a banana or in spinach or in any item. So I was looking up ingredients individually on Google, which I just wanted an app that I could search for food on the app and put in how much of it I'm eating and be told what the answer is. I downloaded 4 or 5 free apps which said that they did this, and either they did and I didn't find it a very user friendly app, or the premium version of the app included it. But I found one called Carb Manager, and I'll leave a link to it in the notes. And Carb Manager is free, and the net carb feature is free, and it's quite user friendly. So within that, I can type in tomato, and then it goes how many grams, and I would say 50 grams, and it just adds up the net carbs for me, which is great. So when I'm cooking, I'm not really up for weighing food and counting calories. I've never done that before. It's something that tends to be associated with slightly obsessive control of food. But just now, I don't have a clue. I'm not used to looking at a piece of cucumber and guessing how much it weighs. So I have taken to having my digital scales out, and as I'm cooking, I try to, like if I'm making a pot curry, there's maybe 10 ingredients in there, and I'm trying to kind of keep an eye on, once I've chopped it all up, pop it in a bowl first, it's 150 grams, put it in the pan, and then that curry might get split into 4 servings, so then I'm quartering it, and it's tricky. But all this happens in the first week, and then once you know, oh, that Thai curry is perfectly fine, you don't need to weigh it, you don't need to put it in the app anymore. It's just about discovering what is possible, what's going to work and what's not going to work. So I would say that week 1 is probably the hardest week. You're getting used to it. You're doing all sorts of like mental arithmetic with onions and carrots and things. But once you get your library of recipes, which I'm starting to build up, then you think a lot less about it. So I initially cooked the ginger chicken in the recipe in the book, in the Supergut book. It was delicious. And then I started basically looking online, looking through cookbooks, and just picking out ones where I was pretty sure met the criteria, typed them into the app, and then I've gone for it. So the first few days, the first week does seem tough, but it just gets easier after that. I'm already feeling more energy. I've definitely lost a little bit of water weight, which makes me just feel like lighter and like I want to move my body more. I've been doing more exercise. I think I've had more focus. That's something I've really noticed. Just more ability to focus on a task and do it, which is very satisfying. So, yeah, all in all, I think I'm doing things right.